Welcome to Lime Rock Park, the home circuit of the late, great Paul Newman. But who will conquer this twisty Connecticut circuit today? Welcome to Grand Prix Legends, live here on the Global Sim Racing channel. I'm Peter Mackay, and I am privileged to be joined in the booth by the better half of Double Scotch, Ryan Walker. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Ambrose, and he's using camera angles perfected by Dougie Beard. Lime Rock Park is as beautiful as it is challenging to the driver, and here is our Global Sim Racing channel track guide to tell you a bit more about it.
Welcome to Lime Rock Park. Located in the northwest corner of Connecticut, this unassuming little track has garnered a surprisingly passionate following. Its unique aspects create a circuit not only full of character, but consistently challenging even to modern race cars. While it has 4 different possible layouts, on the classic version, only 7 corners are split along a 1.5-mile track, with just a single one of them turning left. Though simple in appearance, most drivers will tell you that trying to be fast here is anything but. The run down the front stretch into Big Bend offers pretty much the only viable passing spot, but it's a double apex right-hander which lures drivers into taking it too fast. The uphill is also scary quick considering its lack of runoff and can sometimes cause cars to get airborne over its crest. Then, on the opposite end, the downhill sends cars diving into a quick sweeper, which requires a good exit speed in order to defend or attack back into the first corner. Modern racing mostly uses the more recently built chicanes, especially at the uphill. But one of the most unusual facts about this track is that the races are never held on Sunday. Due to a legal agreement with a nearby church, events must take place on Fridays and Saturdays. The confines around this place are tight, the passing opportunities are few, and mistakes are usually punished with race-ending damage. With most other road courses now being built with upwards of 3 and 4 miles in length, this track stands out. But in an age of multi-million-dollar facilities and flashy buildings, this quaint small circuit manages to keep fans coming back with its intimate and grassroots setting.
So there you are then, a little bit more about this circuit that's very much small in stature but big in challenge. Ryan, it's a pleasure to be back for round 2 of the Grand Prix Legends series, but we know you like the finer details of each particular circuit. What can the drivers expect today here at Lime Rock Park?
Yeah, I think the drivers are going to expect, I think, especially in that back section, that tight twisted section, there's not really anywhere to make a move. I think the best opportunity for making a move is on the exit of turn 7, the downhill section, and heading down the Sam Posey straight, heading down to turn 1. I think that's the only real passing opportunity you'll have. But I think the name of the game for this race today, I think, is going to be patience, timing your move, and just trying to keep out of trouble. And I think this track is going to produce a great race today.
I'm sure it will indeed. Let's have a look at the championship points to see how they stand after the opening round of the season. Mick Claridge starting off as he left off last season, of course, an undisputed champion last year. No one could beat him, and he started off with that 100% record still intact. Ovi Trengrade sitting just 5 points back from Mick Claridge at this early stage, with Bruce Nelson, Bill Tyler and Chris Murakami rounding out the top 5. How are they looking in the F2 Championship, Ryan?
So in the F2 Championship, it's only the second round of the season, but at the top we've got Billy Wright at the top of the standings in that championship, with Dave Colin in second place, with Andrew Eng in third, and then we've got Randy Huff from Canada in fourth, and rounding out the top 5 is Michael Grinziger from the United States. So still really close in the F2 Championship, and I think this could be the championships to watch this season.
I think you could be right, absolutely. And finally, we'll look at the Nations Cup and see how those points are looking as we head into the round here at Lime Rock Park. The United Kingdom leading by 5 points from Norway, the United States, Canada and Finland. Let's have a look at our race details then to see what the drivers are up against today for the second round of the Grand Prix Legends Championship. The second round of 12, so it's a long old season here in the Grand Prix Legends. 41 laps of this Lime Rock Park circuit. Of course, a very, very short lap indeed, particularly in a car with the grunt of this classic Lotus 49. And of course, an open setup, as always, so the drivers can use every little last piece of adjustment on these Grand Prix machines to get the best possible performance. And of course, here at Lime Rock Park, you need a very particular setup as well. And of course, Ryan, if you go for quite a short gearing, with it being such a tight and twisty circuit, that of course in turn makes the power delivery quite aggressive as well. So the drivers are really got to find a very finite balance to get the cars dialed in for the optimum lap time here at Lime Rock Park.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the gearing, especially for that home straight, is going to be crucial. As we look at McLaren's at the moment, who gets a bit of airtime over the jump, and McLaren's pretty much started off the season where he finished it last season. Took a dominant one at the Nürburgring Nordschleife last week, and as we look at Michel Dunion come across the line now and making his first appearance of the season.
Indeed, Michel Dunion going third there as well with a nice new paint scheme as well. Nice to see that as well. Yanni Lehmann coming flying over the line, 48.3 for him. Now, Rob Olenek, I have to say, I do love this paint scheme on Rob Olenek's machine. That almost Ferrari-esque, old-style Ferrari, silver with the blue and red stripe on it as well. A 48.483 for Robbo. That puts him fourth, but normally you wouldn't be so worried about 0.4 of a second of gap, Ryan, but at Lime Rock Park, that's quite a decent margin.
It is, especially around this. Consider it Lime Rock Park's not really that long of a track. As you look at Colin Bentley coming across the line now, 48.8, and Florence Arabian as well, a name I recognise from other various leagues, and good to see Florence on track as well. He's more famous for racing in the SRF.
Well, of course, Florence, our top seed with the highest I rating of all in this field. And already we've got Rob Olenek back round again to set his lap time. Does he improve? He does not. So, Rob Olenek will go no better than fourth place for this race here at Lime Rock Park. And of course, with, as you rightly mentioned, Brian, not many overtaking opportunities at all. So track position, very, very important. These will be the two most important laps all day.
Yeah, the track position is going to be crucial, and I think with a good turnout of cars as well, a high turnout as well when you look at it, as we ride on board with Florence Arabian coming across the line now, and doesn't improve. But I think in the early stages, you'll probably see some cars getting bunched up, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see some drivers maybe getting into some silly incidents, not intentionally, but it's just the nature of the track.
Indeed, a lot of drivers at the moment not put a lap time down, so there could be a few drivers who have to start all the way at the back. But let's get Antonio Reis over the line. Well, he does not improve, so he will be no better than 8th position as well. Robert Plumley opens up the gas onto the Sam Posey straight, and he does improve by 3/10. Good lap there from Robert.
And Glenn Becker's coming across the line now, and he does not improve. He stays 19th, but as Cesare Piccolo comes across the line now, he only jumps up to 30th. So most drivers, some drivers improving, but others not improving. So maybe some drivers they're not really comfortable with this track at the moment. As Joseph Muddrack's coming across the line now, can he improve? It looks like he's going to improve by. Actually, he doesn't improve. It's 49.8, so he stays 18th.
Most of the drivers now will have set their 2 fast lap times. A lot of them now just setting their some practice laps, just getting that last little bit of fine tuning in before we go into the race. 41 laps around here will make you feel dizzy. It's kind of like a life-size Scalextric circuit, Lime Rock Park, I always think, Ryan.
Yeah, I agree. But I always think of Lime Rock Park as well as maybe that little American brother to the Nordschleife. I know it sounds silly, but it just seems to have that feel to the track with the walls being so close.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, it's certainly a challenging circuit, and of course, a beautiful place to go racing as well, in a heavily wooded area, and a circuit with so much heritage as well in both sports car racing and in the single seater world as well. Of course, home to Sam Posey. Of course, you have the Sam Posey Straight, and well, Sam is one winner of so many great sports car races. And one thing was quite cool is I was reading recently that Sam Posey bought a Porsche 904, one of very, very few Porsche 904s made. There was only just over 100 of them made, and he bought it from Mr. Gianni Bulgari of Bulgari jewellery fame.
Yeah, that's the first time I've heard about that. And yeah, Sam Posey, a name that probably many will recognise from commentating on the IndyCar series, or kart series as it was called back then, alongside a certain Paul Page.
Indeed, yeah. He's a legendary announcer, as they would say stateside. Look at these beautiful shots, thanks to our producer Sean Ambrose and our cameraman Dougie Beard, of the very simple but very elegant surroundings here at Lime Rock Park. Of course, one of the places where you can go to race school, learn how to be a racing driver, and this was where none other than Paul Newman came to learn his craft and went on to some great success. It came ever so close to winning Le Mans in 1979 with the Hawaiian Tropic Porsche 935. So it looks like we're about ready to take a look at the grid to see how they set up here for the second round of the Grand Prix Legends 2021 Season 2. And there's not really much change at the front there, is there? You know, we're going to have Mick Claridge on pole position and showing some real dominant pace so far this season, and edging out Topi Cortinemi by over a tenth and a half of a second, which is a reasonable margin here at Lime Rock Park. Row 2 will be Michel Dudignon and Rob Olenek. Row 3 will be Ovi Trengrade and Bill Tyler, with Chris Murakami and Antonio Rees starting on row 4. And rounding out your top 10, Yanni Lehman and Colin Bentley.
Yeah, starting in 11th is Lance Dawson, Gary Thiel in 12th, with John Olson 13th, 14th is Florence Arabian, 15th is Emmanuel Pereira, 16th is Robert Plumley, Chris Henler in 17th, Joseph Mudrak 18th, 19th is Glenn Becker, and rounding out the top 20 is Dave Cotton.
Starting on the 11th row of the grid will be Matthew Maudsley and Bruce Nelson. Behind them will be Johnny Bell and Roland Waldbank. Row 13 sees Andrew Eng and Eugenio Massa, followed by Jesse Brandon, Hideki Kavisto, Paul Sampo and David Meyer.
31st is Cesare Piccolo, with 32nd going to Steve O'Malley. Gary Anderson is in 33rd. 34th is Antonio Lebrun. 35th is Yanni Peterson. 36th, Kurt Clapper. 37th is the back row man himself, Robert Reynolds. Thomas Schaffner at 38th. 40th is Gary Crim, and rounded out the grid. Sorry about it, Peter, my iRacing just crashed again.
No, John Stepanich, your 40th car of 40. The lights are up here in Connecticut. We are green for round 2 of the Grand Prix Legends Series from Lime Rock Park. It's a decent start from Mick Claridge, but Topi Cortinemi keeping him honest into Big Ben, turn 1 and 2. They all filter through here. It's a quick change of direction into left-hander and then into right-hander. No, I have not forgotten the corner names. That is actually what they are called. Imagination personified, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. They're all coming up now, and just look at this. Loads of cars coming up here, and look at the airtime to get over the jump.
Now, first pound in the swear jar for someone who goes wee, because that's kind of what all the drivers will be saying. Because goodness me, that goes to your Nürburgring analogy, Ryan, because that is like a mini Flugplatz.
Yeah, pretty much, as they come across the line to complete the first lap, and just look at this line of cars as well heading into turn 1. And it looks like everyone's pretty much completed the first lap without any issues, and at the moment it's still Mick Claridge leading the race.
This is going to be a very frantic race. Of course, with 40 cars out on track, lap traffic is going to be a constant battle for our leaders, but we know just how cool Mick Claridge is under pressure as they're about to come over there they go, all 4 wheels off, and get him to stick that landing. If you don't get that landing absolutely perfect, Ryan, you'll be in the wall.
Yeah, pretty much. As they were right on board with second place man Torque Cortinemi at the moment, still keeping in contact with Mick Claridge as they come across the line to complete lap 2, heading down into turn 1 across the San Posi Straight. And this is such a tricky corner to get right, I find, here, because you're going so quick and all of a sudden you've got to brake and sometimes turn at the same time, as Mick Claridge puts in the fastest lap of the race.
Yep, on the first flying lap, Mick showing that he's the man with the pace and already opening up to about just under half a second, but Topi Cortinemi's there at the point, and of course you've not got the braking zone there into the chicane, which often is a bit of a kind of half chance for an overtaking manoeuvre. So nice to see the drivers using the slightly older layout, the full layout, and going for the big leap over the crest there as they come down West Bend and into downhill. It's a hugely big commitment corner, and with these cars with no aerodynamics, you're trying to use as much of the grip of the tyre as you can, but it's a real balancing act. And again, Mick Claridge notches up the pace once more. He's really putting the pressure on early here, Ryan.
He is. There's further back as well. We've got a battle going on between Rob Ulrich and it looks like Owe Trengrade by the look, Michel Dinayon, sorry.
Indeed, and would you believe it, where it looks like we're actually going to come across lapped traffic very, very soon indeed. A lot of the drivers now near the back of the pack, over 30 seconds behind, so it's not going to be long before Claridge, Cortinemi and Olenek are going to come across their first lap traffic. And of course, we normally see lap traffic a little bit later on in the race, of course, on a longer lap. And you'll see drivers who have kind of their day is done, they'll move across, it's not a problem. But at this point, Ryan, it's a little bit different. I'm tangling my words up today. It's a little bit different because they're only on lap 5. So if you've got a car coming up behind you, you're not going to be as keen to make that room.
Yeah, pretty much. And I never knew we had a Brian in the booth. But anyway, moving on. It's one of those things you've just got to try and create space as well, as Dinayon gets the airtime over that jump as well. And I don't know about you, Peter, but that jump I'm always fascinated about just watching the cars getting in the air.
Indeed, yeah, it's an amazing sight, and the drivers, it is not a straightforward jump either. You've got to keep the wheels nice and straight, get it landing perfectly, because this car will not let you away with anything. Look at Chris Murakami on a great run, battling away with Ovi Trengrade. Ovi Trengrade back in 7th position now, and already, there you go, there's the first lap traffic, and great respect there from the slower car to allow the leaders through. And that must be pretty agonising there for the lap car, because you're not just letting one through, you're letting the entire freight train through.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Lime Rock Park as well. When you're trying to let oncoming cars by, it's difficult to get out of the way because there's not really that much room, especially in that tight middle section. You can't really get out of the way. It's kind of, you've just got to try your best and not do anything too silly. As we're right on board with Trengrade at the moment, and it looks like Trengrade might have the run in Murakami as they come across the home straight.
Yep, it looks like there's a problem up ahead. They'll need to be careful. The yellow flags will be waving for them. Look, it was a huge puff of smoke. Maybe a spinner or a lock of brake, but they get through okay. Wonder what that was from, but yes, good run there from Trengrade. Drafted Murakami beautifully and got the move done on the brakes down into turn 1 and 2, big bend. So Trengrade moving forward then, about 7.5 seconds off the leader, but of course only just about half a second or so up to Bill Tyler in 5th. So interestingly, Mick Claridge now it's only little small margins, isn't it, Ryan? It's just little tiny, a 10th here, a 10th there, and he just slowly demoralises his opposition. But Cortinemi matching him for the last couple of laps, but already you can see there's a little bit of damage there on the front of Mick Claridge's nose cone, but that's just that's almost a little bit of circumstantial damage that the cars do pick up over any race.
Indeed, as Bill Tyler's in the battle for 5th with Trengrade, Murakami, and it looks like a whole bunch of cars in there, but Antonio Reese as well. And they're riding on board the Reese at the moment from the, as I like to call it, the front nose cam, or lower nose cam.
Indeed, yeah, we're in the nostril of the Lotus 49 here, breathing in lots of nice, cool Connecticut air. Now, I tell you what, good job there from Robert Reynolds in the 34 car. Had a lot of cars to let through there, and he did. He made good room there. Good job. It's not easy when there's a really fast train of cars coming through as well. You can also see I think that's the 28 car there, allowing some of the drivers through as well. Not easy at all there for Janne Pettersson, because there's only certain parts of the circuit where you can actually get out of the way.
Indeed, this battle is still really close at the moment, and a whole bunch of cars involved in this battle as well. So it's close up at the front, but in the midfield as well, it's still really close as well for other positions in the top 10. And I think this battle will probably go on for most of the race.
So we're looking at a little bit further back in the pack. Robert Plumley in the 18 car, running in 16th position right now. And this is incredible, Ryan. This is a bit like watching a multi-class sports car race where you have the faster cars coming through, and the lap traffic is almost a permanent fixture to contend with.
Indeed, I was thinking that as well. It's sort of like a Lotus 49 multi-class race, if you like. You've got the quick people up at the front, you've got the, I would say, not so quick people in the midfield, maybe the lesser quick drivers, I could say. And you've got these guys towards the rear of the field as well. So it's kind of, but you've got a different mixture of pace going on, if you like.
Now, I have to say, I do like this paint scheme on Matthew Maudsley's machine, the number 26, the Gulf Oils, a classic racing livery as well. There, look at that lovely kind of duck shell blue and orange. It just looks right. So back to the lead we go then, and Mick Claridge cannot shake off Topi Kortenemi. The Finnish driver absolutely on form today, and this is actually we're 11 laps in, about a quarter race distance, and this is the most we've seen Mick Claridge under pressure for quite a little while, Ryan.
Yeah, it's normally, if Mick Claridge is under pressure, it's normally the likes of Ovi Drengrid or Will Wallenich that's putting him under pressure, but at the moment it's the ice cold man from Finland putting Mick Claridge under pressure. And I have to say, I've been impressed by Topi in practice this week. He's been really quick and giving Mick a run for his money.
Yeah, he absolutely has. Indeed. Now, I've just noticed something. I can't believe we've missed it up to now. Of course, you and I, Ryan, we are double scotch on a Saturday afternoon here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Now, that livery that Mick Claridge is running, I've just noticed it says Stewart on the side of it, and I can't believe I didn't notice it up to now. It's Jackie Stewart's first Formula 1 livery in BRM.
Yeah, I was about to bring it up as well. Mick did mention to me during the week, actually it wasn't Mick Claridge, it was John Olsen that mentioned it to me actually, that Mick was running the BRM livery that Jackie Stewart ran, and yeah, it's good to see Mick running some classic vintage stuff, especially a Jackie Stewart livery. Indeed,
yes. Well, that'll serve him well when he gets into a drafting battle at Monza, of course, where Jackie Stewart won his first Grand Prix in a proper ding-dong battle, which of course which Murray Walker commentated on as well, God rest him. So we've got big traffic here as well, coming into turn 1 and 2 for Gary Teal and John Olsen. There was a car coming out the pits there that I have to be very careful of, but I think that's going to be the order of the day as the race progresses. Ryan is just trying to not get tangled up in a silly incident with a lap car, because it's a constant threat.
It is, and that's the thing with Lime Rock Park as well. It's sort of like the Nord's life in a way as well, that it just basically it's all about survival. But Teal and Olsen going at it, and also joining these guys in the battle as well is Laust Olsen. So a three-way battle going on for 12th at the moment, and not too far behind these guys you've got Joseph Mudrak and Robert Plumley.
So we're riding on board then with Laust Olsen with all the colours of the rainbow here on his machine. Just dropped back a couple of positions from his original starting spot, but you can really see from this sort of shoulder camera, you can see really how much the suspension has to work on these cars. It's got that almost cigar tube fuselage-like body, and then you can see these metal suspension arms, and you see the tyre bouncing up and down. It's almost like it's almost slightly comical in the way the body language. Whoa! Goodness me, that made my stomach rise just looking at that, right?
Yeah, you're not the only one. As the battle for P6 is going on at the moment as well. Marikami, and look at this bunch of cars heading into turn 1. They're almost going 3 wide.
Oh my, and they all do well to get through there clean. There's lots of different lines to enter the corner there, but they do very, very well indeed. It looks like Trengrade is really starting to get on the move now. He's up into 5th place, but amazingly, he's got 9 seconds all the way up to Michel Dudignon. So there's a real split in the field. So Ovi Trengrade getting a little bit caught up with some slower drivers early on in this race, and he's got a lot of work to do here to try and progress on from 5th spot.
Yeah, as pretty much as the battle for the lead is still going on, and Topi Kotanemi is still harassing Mick Claridge and riding on board of Claridge as well, and they see in the background the car of the Finnish driver Kortenemi, and Kortenemi will just not stop.
And the great thing for Kortenemi is that every single batch of lap traffic that they get, Kortenemi has an opportunity to basically throw an ambush on Mick Claridge, but also conversely Mick Claridge, he can sort of try and put a lap car in between, almost like a chess piece. This is an absolutely fascinating well, there you go. In that little sequence of traffic, nearly 7 or 8 tenths of a second, Claridge was able to pull out a massive lockup into turn 1 there on the inside right-hand tyre for Mick Claridge. Wow, that was close.
Yeah, that was a massive lockup, and Mick managed to save that, and that was a massive lockup for sure.
Whoa, and you can see that there. Actually, proper rally-esque reactions there. Of course, I had to actually duck the wheel over the curb to try and slow the car down as well. I think he knew that there was it was a little bit of a sticky situation there, but look at this again. If you just catch a lap car in the wrong place, look at that. That's really compromised Mick Claridge's exit. Oh, and he gets run onto the grass, and here comes Kortenemi. Watch Kortenemi in the number 5 car. There's a big puff of smoke ahead. Goodness me, it's like a Dr. Dre video here in turn 1. Oh my word. And look at this, Kortenemi, he's blocked up behind, and Mick Claridge is looking in his mirror saying, oh yes, keep that cork in that bottle, thank you very much.
Yeah, that was that probably gave Mick a fright, and I think it might have frustrated Kortenemi slightly as well, as Mick comes up to a back marker as well, and proof yet again that Line Rock Park, lapping traffic is pretty difficult.
It is indeed, even for a man as fast as Mick Claridge. It's when there is a car parked on the apex, there is not an awful lot you can do sometimes. So this battle, what a great battle we're seeing. The best battle we've seen for quite a few rounds here in the Grand Prix Legends Championship. Mick Claridge versus Topi Kortenemi, the new challenger to the king. Quick Mick, brilliant to see the Scandinavian putting on so much pressure. Bill Tyler and Chris Murakami having a great little battle here as well. Tyler in 6th, Murakami in 7th, but Murakami got a good run here down towards turn 1. Tyler sees it coming and just covers it off on the brakes. Very nice.
Yeah, he's doing a good defensive job keeping Murakami behind, and Murakami, we know he can be a quick driver on his day, and he's not afraid to try to make a move or force the move, if you like. So Murakami is one of those brave type drivers, if you like.
Yep, they don't call him the kamikaze for nothing. You don't get a nickname like that without good reason. So we're just about approaching half race distance here already at Lime Rock Park. It's fast and furious as they go under the Haggerty Bridge downhill into West Bend. It's a swooping corner, and if you can get a good exit here, looks like Murakami has. Maybe Bill Tyler a little bit compromised, but Murakami taking it nice and steady on the brakes here, just playing it smart, just sizing up his rival, figuring out where he can make a move. We've got a slow car up on the left. Oh, this is going to be very close. Gets by in time, yes. So back to the front we go then, and Mick Claridge just cannot shake off Topi Kortenemi as they go through each phase of lap traffic. And we've got another car parked on the exit. That's a really dangerous position to be in, but they get through clean. So we're riding on the engine cover of Mick Claridge's Cosworth DFV V8, listening to that sweet music from this beautiful machine. And looking back at Topi Cortinemi, what do you think, Ryan? Do you think he can? Do you think he'll be able to make a move here?
I think he could make a move, but I think at the moment, Topi's just sitting there. He's kind of. It's similar to what I do sometimes in a race. If I'm behind someone and it's early stages of a race or halfway through a race, just sit back, plan what you're going to do if you get the chance, and maybe try and use that lap traffic to your advantage.
Oh, you're a wise word. The Yoda of the booth there, Ryan. I'm more worrying about trying to cling on to them. I'm more worrying about not going quick enough to hang on to have such strategical opportunities. Now we're just getting reports that Michel Dudignon is now all over the back of Rob Olenek. Now these guys, of course, about 5 seconds off the lead battle, and maybe they might have resigned themselves already to a battle for the last spot on the podium, as Olenek having to be a little bit aggressive there to get by in time. Dudignon just follows suit. Over the jump they go, over they go again. God, you can see it. Oh no, Rob Olenek's stripes have got bent. Oh dear, that's not good for the OCD.
As they've got lap traffic in front of them as well, heading into the final corner, and oh, that was so close. Dudignon was so close to getting clipped by a lap car, but luckily manages to get round them. But there's plenty of battles going on at the moment, and lap traffic is proving to be a bit of a problem. But it's just one of those things that, with the Lime Rock being so tight, there's really nowhere for the lap traffic to go.
Yeah, this is funny enough. It's about a similar lap time to what you'd have at Knockhill. Actually, it's a similar idea. Tight and twisty, little bit of undulation as well. Tell you what, it's the Connecticut Knockhill ride.
I like that analogy. That's a pretty good way to look at it. But still, these guys are coming through lap traffic now, and there's more lap traffic in front of them. And again, they might get held up slightly, but actually no, they managed to get by without any problems.
I guess that means that Lime Rock Park is the Knockhill is the Lime Rock Park of Fife. Would be the equivalent as well. But look at that, Olenek really having to fight hard. Dudignon's going to sling it around the outside. He'll now have the inside for left-hander. Rob Olenek knows he can hang it out. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle there from Michel Dudignon. Just hangs on to it. Oh, COVID test. Oh no. Oh, we've got our first COVID test of the season. The exhaust pipe straight up the nostril.
Yeah, as we look at the replay of Dudignon now riding on board, and I think he just took too much of the inside, or turned in too early, and just unfortunately tagged the rear of Rob Olenek. And I like that analogy as well, Peter, the COVID test.
Yeah, not a pleasant experience for either party, I think, would be the best way. So, but they carry on, and no damage, thankfully, which is nice to see. Olenek still holding off from Dudignon, but they've lost even more time. They're now 8 seconds back from the leading pair, who go along at an absolutely extraordinary pace. Mick Claridge's best lap time 48.196, Topi Cortinemi 48.228. They are so close on pace. Only ever a tenth of a second or so separating them, apart from when there's anomalies with traffic. And look at that, Cortinemi having to take a little bit of a wider berth. Claridge just getting a slightly better exit out of West Bend, and into Big Bend they go. 15 laps to go. It's coming down to the wire.
It is, and I think Cortinemi is probably getting frustrated now, because every time he gets close to Mick Claridge, he probably thinks, yeah, this is my chance, I can try and make a move or get a run. But lap traffic is he's just catching it in the wrong places at the moment, and it's allowing Claridge just to kind of just eke out a gap a little bit and maintain that gap. But Cortinemi, credit to him, he's keeping up. But looking back at fourth place, Michel Dudignon, he's still right in the mix and in the battle for third place with Rob Olenek. Oh,
you almost think they're going to flip over there with going over the over the jump. Amazing. But Olenek still hanging on for now, but Dudignon really laying on the pressure here to try and get that first podium of the season. Of course, we missed Michel last week, but great to see him back for the second round of the championship. A little bit of a twitch there on the way into turn 1 and 2, but that's kind of, you're managing that all the time in this car, aren't you, Ryan? The car is always asking you to react.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's like, the way I look at the Lotus 49, it's kind of like a bull in a way. You've got to try and control it, and it's kind of, if you try and wrestle it too much, it'll just fight back on you.
And don't show it a red flag either, because it'll be very unhappy because you have to stop, which is not so nice as well. So, this is a really intriguing little battle here between Olenek and Dudignon. And look at that, Dudignon there carrying a lot of curb and getting on the brake, getting a lot of power a little bit early, and he's got a superb run here on Olenek, side by side, down the Zamposi straight they go, but Olenek is very strong on the brakes there, but can't quite hold it down. Is Dudignon going to be able to seal up the move? He does. A beautifully timed and set up move there from Michel Dudignon. Now, can Rob Olenek retaliate?
That was a great move by Michel. He managed to get the move done, and he got a great exit on the final corner and carried that momentum, and he got the move done on the outside. So credit to him for holding it, and also credit to Olenek for giving him just enough space.
Yeah, great respect indeed. Good point, Ryan. You can't get racing like that without respect from driver to driver. Really, really good to see. Now, again, that gap back at the front between Claridge and Cortinemi just yo-yos back and forward. Now, Cortinemi getting a little bit of clean air there and setting the fastest lap of the race. Just 48.180, 16 thousandths of a second better than Claridge's best earlier on in the race. But here we go, more lap traffic, and just seems that Mick Claridge has just got that slight bit more of an edge here going through the traffic.
Yeah, it just seems to be, Mick seems to be more confident through the traffic. Toppy seems to be more, I wouldn't say hesitant, but he's more kind of just, he uses a safe approach.
Indeed, yes, absolutely. It's I think also just Claridge has maybe just got that little bit of a pace advantage and can make the compromises when he needs to as well. And no! Oh, Topi Cortinemi just tangles with a lap car, and he spins around. He's losing places now. Does he remain in second position? I think he is going to, just about, but let's see what happens there. So the lap car is given lots of room. Cortinemi on the inside. Oh, and they just come together. Bit of a racing incident, really. Oh, that's just really bad luck.
I don't know. I was looking at the replay, and I think, I don't know. I agree it's a racing deal, but I think the butt marker could have been more aware and not drifted into Toppy.
Yeah, I think so, Ryan. I think there's that's the thing you've always got to contend with lap traffic. You sometimes can be a little bit unpredictable, and Toppy just went to his normal late racing line there, but really, really unlucky for Cortinemi. But that changes the complexion of this battle for the podium now, because Cortinemi and Dudignon now battling over second position. Olenek not far behind as well, so it wouldn't need much of a slip for Olenek to get onto the podium here as well. But for Mick Claridge, all of a sudden he's got a 9-second advantage, and now he's got that luxury now, Ryan, that he doesn't have to take any risk whatsoever in the traffic.
Yeah, he can just pretty much relax through the traffic, not do anything silly, just take his time, not back off completely, but just be a little bit more cautious. But riding on board with Dudignon at the moment, and in front of us you've got the Finnish driver Cortinemi, and I don't know if Toppy's got any major damage with that, but just watching his car from my in-game view, it looks to be amazingly, it seems to be fine.
Yeah, it looked like a real. I think this might be the same car. I think it's certainly a similar colour anyway. Oh dear, but Cortinemi gets through eventually and does well actually to defend the line while waiting to get through on the lap traffic. But Dudignon, well, I tell you what, hasn't Michel Dudignon just come alive in this second half of the race, Ryan?
Yeah, I have to agree. He's pretty much just got into that zone, and at the moment he's in third place. In front of him, he could pick up another position and finish in second place. But as I've got 10 laps to go in this race, I think Cortinemi, I think after that little incident, his focus has been kind of rattled a little bit.
Oh, it will have, yeah. He'll be absolutely... Oh, he'll be so disappointed because he was right there in the battle for the win with Mick Claridge. Of course, these guys have had to watch Mick Claridge win the last, well over a dozen races in a row. And that is quite a record. And these guys are all trying their very best to get back on top. And, well, Topi Cortinemi was in that battle very much. So, we look back a little bit further for the outside of the top 10. Yanni Lehman here and Gary Teal. Oh my goodness, they bang wheels because they got a little bit held up behind a slower car. Oh dear. And Yanni Lehman there in the number 16 machine in those beautiful scarlet red Ferrari colours.
Yeah, and yeah, good to see these guys having a great race as well. And I think that back marker might have been Robert Reynolds trying to get out of the way. But these guys having a great race in the top 10, and again, I love that view of the cars getting some airtime, especially when the front end lifts off the ground.
Indeed, yeah, it gives a great impression of what the drivers are contending with. Great camera work from our very own Dougie Beard. So 8 laps to go here at Lime Rock Park, and there's not long left at all. Of course, such a short lap here, well under a minute. So we're coming into the closing stages of this second round of the Grand Prix Legends series. Of course, every Saturday morning here on the Global Sim Racing channel, we have our Grand Prix Legends series. Then a few hours later on, in a couple of hours' time, we have Camel GT. So if you're a fan of old 1980s IMSA racing, GTP cars and GTO cars, come and check that out in Camel GT in a few hours' time. And then tomorrow we have the Lotus 79 Classic Grand Prix Series. And basically an evolution of this particular car, same engine but with quite a lot more power and of course huge development in aerodynamics. It's amazing how much the Formula One world pressed on in just 10 years.
Yeah, I would say back then I think Formula One was pretty much ahead of its time when it came to technology. But the battle for P6 as well it's still going on actually between Bill Tyler, Chris Marikami, and it looks like also Colin Bentley has joined this battle as well.
Indeed. So this is really important points for the championship here. Of course, you cannot afford to make the mistake. You can't afford to give away points in this midfield. It's incredibly competitive. You've got so many drivers on such a close level, and as they all pile down towards turn 1 with 6 laps to go, who is willing to risk it for those extra few points? And again, more lap traffic as well. There's so much to contend with. We've now only got the top 12 on the lead lap.
Indeed, and it's pretty amazing that it's only the top 12 that's on the lead lap now, because around here, this track from races I've done in the past, it can be a bit of an attrition fest. But at the moment, Chris Marikami just getting through the back markers, and these back markers have allowed Bill Tyler just to pull away ever so slightly and build up just a little bit of a gap at the moment.
Well, this is where it's going to get a little bit tricky with the lap traffic now, because as you can see from our timing tower now, the lap time is about 48 seconds. So everyone from sort of Gary Teal, Yanni Lehman, Laust Olsen, Florence Arabian, they're all in the kind of danger zone where they might be overtaken in the final 5 laps. So of course they're all very much in their own battle. So Mick Claridge is going to have to play this one really, really smart, how he plays these last 5 laps. And you can see actually that he sacrificed about nearly 3 seconds of his advantage since Cortinemi had his spin.
Indeed, and Laust Olsen and Yanni Lehman are going at it as well for 10th place, and Olsen gets a bit twitchy on the exit, but that's allowed Lehman to catch up a little bit, and battles going on in the midfield as well in the closing stages as Laust Olsen gets a bit of airtime over the jump, and they've got a back mark in front. But the battle between Dudion as well is going on between Dudion and Cortinemi as well.
Indeed, yeah. So Dudignon's been able to get onto the case of Cortinemi, but Cortinemi back now in the rhythm and really pushing on, desperate to at least get that second position. He will be disappointed not to have been able to just challenge to the end with McClarridge for the win, but second place would still be another really strong chunk of points for Cortinemi. And tell you what, Ryan, I think that over the course of the season, Cortinemi is absolutely a championship contender.
I have to say, I was about to bring that up as well. I think Cortinemi, if he keeps this pace and consistency up, I think he could be a dark horse in the championship this season if either Claridge, Olenek, Trengrid, any people like that have issues. I think he could be there in the mix.
That's why they call us double Scotch, Ryan. We're like a good blend, a good blended malt.
And we taste good.
Yeah. You're the fruity Speyside, I'm the smoky Isla. Moving on. 2 laps
anyway.
here. 2 laps to go here at Lime Rock Park. I've finally got Ryan Walker speechless in the commentary box. Oh, we've got the spinner at turn 1. And we've got a bit of a boneyard of broken up Lotus 49s in the pit lane as well. Paul Sampo having to recover back onto the circuit. Let's pick up our leader and see how he is getting along and how these last few laps are playing out for Mick Claridge. And would you believe it, there he's got the number 1 the top seed, Florence Arabian, about to go a lap down. Now this is going to be interesting for Mick Claridge, and if he decides to push on and push ahead, yep, there's your answer, just blasting through like the rest of the field are standing still. He's now got Yanni Lehman in the number 16 machine. Now remember, Yanni Lehman is in that battle with Lars Olsen, so he won't want to give up too much time here.
Yeah, absolutely won't. And Mick Claridge, I think. Oh, Mick Claridge getting a bit close there. Come on, Mick, you've got a big enough lead. You don't have to take any risks. But Yanni Lehman lets him go.
He does, yep. We're on to the final lap now as well. So Mick Claridge has taken the white flag. Oh, that's so close behind there. But Mick Claridge gets through just about as he comes into West Bend and downhill for the final time. Then he keeps this amazing undisputed record going. Mick Claridge is your winner once again here in the Grand Prix Legends Series. What a drive, but what a challenge from Topi Cortinemi. Here he comes. Topi Cortinemi is going to finish in second place, and if he can keep that up throughout the season, Ryan, he will be there at the end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely will, and he could be a dark horse to watch in this championship. But at the moment, it's Mick Claridge pretty much doing the job, or starting off the season like he did finished it last season, and taking another one at Lime Rock Park.
Indeed, yeah, it's just quite incredible to watch a driver so much at the peak of their powers. And I think we should really point out, Ryan, is just how good the guys in the top 5 are, and the quality of field that he's beating week on week. It's extraordinary.
Indeed, and I was unfortunate because unfortunate for Topi Cortinemi is he gave Mick a good challenge until issues striked towards the end, but it looks like we're going to go for a break.
Indeed we are. We will be back in just a moment here on the Global Sim Racing channel with official results and driver interviews. Don't go anywhere. welcome back to Lime Rock Park, Connecticut, where we have been treated to a thrilling race here at this very short but very sweet little circuit here in the Grand Prix Legends Championship. Mick Claridge continuing his dominance of this championship. Now, do not let, if you're just tuning in, do not let that time fool you. Topi Kortenemi pushed Mick right to the final moment, and just a little tangle with a back marker was all that it needed to take him out of the running. But still coming home in second position, and Topi Kortenemi, our pick to challenge Mick Claridge for the championship. Michel Dudignon making a welcome return to the podium, a very impressive return to the podium in third place. Rob Olenek just missing out by a whisker on that podium finish, but he finished in fourth. Ovi Trengrade was fifth, followed by Bill Tyler, Chris Murakami, Colin Bentley, Gary Teal and Lars Olsen getting the last spot in the top 10.
Finishing in 11th was Gianni Lehman with Florence Arabian in 12th. John Olsen in 13th with Robert Plumley 14th. Bruce Nelson in 15th with Dave Coe in 16th. 17th going to Hideki Koivisto. 18th was Roland Wallbank. Johnny Bell 19th. And rounding out the 20 was Andrew Eng.
Classified 21st today and 3 laps back was Eugenio Massa, followed by Robert Reynolds, Paul Sampo, Yanni Pettersson, Thomas Schaffner, Cesare Piccolo, Gary Anderson, John Stepanich, David Meyer and Antonio Lebrun, rounding out the top 30.
Yep, and the retirements from the race was Glenn Becker, Joseph Mudrack, Matthew Maudsley, Jesse Brannon, Steve O'Malley, Antonio Rees, Kurt Clapper, Emmanuel Pereira, Chris Hemler and Jeffrey Krim.
40 cars at Lime Rock Park. Whose idea was that? But I tell you what, whoever idea it was, bravo. That was incredibly entertaining. Ryan, your thoughts on a day's racing today? Lots to talk about.
Yeah, I think it was a great race, and it was a lot better than I thought it would be. I thought it would be loads of retirements, but I have to say, great racing throughout the field, and I think my heart goes out to Topi Kortenemi because he was giving Mick Claridge a run for his money. He was keeping up with him for most of the race, and unfortunately got caught up with a back marker. And I think we've got a couple of drivers in the interview booth.
That we do. Well, joining us in the commentary box right now is Mick Claridge. Mick, that is another impressive win, but my goodness, Topi made you work for that one.
Oh, can you hear me all right?
We can indeed.
Oh yeah, that was war, wasn't it? It was Topi. First of all, before I say anything, Topi put his setup in Discord. He stuck one up in the forum, Lotus 49 forum, and then put one up in Discord as well. And I was using pretty much that because I didn't really have enough practice this week, and I couldn't get anywhere near him. Even using his set, I couldn't get anywhere near him. He was the fastest guy all week, and the fastest guy in the race. I don't know what happened in qualifying. I just got a pretty much perfect lap on my first. I went up high on the tyre pressures, so I think that gave me a bit more pace. But my second lap wasn't that good because I just burned my tyres on it. But yeah, God, what a war! I don't know if you guys saw me down the grass on the front straight going past Roland Wallbank.
We did see that. we did. It did raise the octaves of and the pitch of the voice one or two notches, I have to say. Now we must apologise, Mick, because you know that Ryan and I are quite students of the history of the sport, and of course
I know what you're going to say, Pete. Before you even say it,
I know. Well, we're both proud Scots, and I just noticed that today that you're running a Jackie Stewart BRM livery. First of all, I love it. It's great. Where did the inspiration for that come from?
It's a really good story, funny enough, because I love watching all the old stuff, the old historic Grand Prix. And when you watch anything, you probably know yourself, if you watch anything from around like late 60s or anything, you've normally got like weird cut scenes with dodgy 60s music in the background, and you just don't get a feel for what the racing was all about, really. If you go on YouTube and watch 1968 Brands Hatch, you'll see how good Jackie Stewart was. I never knew how good he was. And then I watched that race, and it was like, God, okay, now I know why he was, now I know why he's talked about so much, and so there's very few drivers. I mean, another one I'd love to learn about is Fangio, but, I don't know if there's anything out there where you can actually see him or how good he was. I've never found anything on Jim Clark. not how good he really was, in a race situation. But yeah, 1968 Brands Hatch Grand Prix. Go and have a look if you want to see how good Jackie Stewart was.
I shall indeed. Well, there's a very good documentary about Fangio on Amazon Prime that I could highly recommend as well. That's a good.
How much money have you got, Pete? I'm not getting that.
Say again, Mick, sorry.
I said, how much money have you got, mate? I'm not getting Amazon Prime.
Yeah, you ask for somebody's password. Ryan Walker will give you his password, I'm sure.
I'll speak to you later, mate.
Well, before we let you go, Mick, to go and ask somebody for their Amazon password, who would you like to give a shout out to here today on the Global Sim Racing channel?
My mum and dad, they've done such a huge thing for me. What I, finally sort of realised this week. I won't go into what it was. But a huge thanks to them and everyone that watches. There's quite a lot of people watches this now, including the three Mackenzie boys. Don't mess with the Mackenzie boys. Toppy nearly messed with the Mackenzie boys today by being so quick. You shouldn't do it.
Yeah, is it by proxy, by messing with you, you mess with the Mackenzie boys?
Trust me, Pete. They're three of the nicest guys you ever met in your life.
But don't mess with them.
Until you mess with them, and then they're not.
Then yeah, I can imagine. Well, Mick, I shall heed that advice as always. Well done on a great win, and we'll see you again next time.
Cheers, guys. Cheers.
And now, second of all, we have the man who pushed Mick all the way to the line there. Toppy Cortinemi is with Ryan Walker.
Yeah, Toppy was in contention for the win and challenging Mick for most of the race, but unfortunately, Toppy, you got caught up with a black marker, and that put pay to your challenge for the win. But how was that race for you? Did you enjoy that? And did you enjoy the track and car combination? And did you think you could take the win from Mick?
I really enjoyed the track. Practicing alone, it has a great flow to it, and I found a really good setup for the car. I was really comfortable with it. And but with a traffic like that, it takes away the flow and a little anxiety. But I was quite surprised after the crash with the back marker. I don't know what was his or her name, but it was a yellow car. I stalled the car at the start, and so two cars passed by, but they were back markers, and I figured I was still second, and I was quite surprised.
Yeah, we were surprised. Excuse me, we were surprised as well. After that incident, we thought you lost maybe one or two positions, but managed to keep second. And how was your mindset after that incident? Did it take you a couple of laps to get into a rhythm again, or was it just kind of just get going again and just see where we finish? Because we saw that Michelle caught up to you towards the end. Were you rattled, or was it just kind of one of those racing deals? Just get your head down again and get going.
I had to drive one lap pretty carefully because I wasn't sure if my car was damaged, because even it's okay, the wheel is pointing a little to the left because the setup is asymmetrical. So I didn't have any sure way to make that I didn't have any damage. But after one lap, I started pushing again. I know I was faster than Michelle, and I know that it happened to me, the crash with the back marker. It could happen to Mick as well, and I just kept pushing like before the accident, and ended second, and I'm happy with that.
I'm looking ahead to the season as well. Me and Peter were talking about it, but do you think you can challenge Mick for the championship, or do you think he's just too quick at most tracks, or do you think you can challenge him and maybe take a couple of wins this season and put yourself in contention?
I think for T-Stack, I think I found a pretty good baseline setup, but I think I can. I think Brandt Hatch is next. I think I can challenge Mick there as well. It's kind of like same than Lime Rock, I think. And it depends. If life gets on the way, it's going to get a lot busier this spring. So we'll see if I have time to practice.
I'm looking ahead to Brandt Hatch. Is it a track that you've raced that much, or with this car as well?
I've raced it on other sims, but not much. So looking forward to it.
And before we let you go, Toppy, is there anyone that you want to give a shout out to?
Oh, the GPL endurance team, Roman Pawlowski and Bill Wright, they're actually racing right now, and my turn is coming in an hour, so I have to go to warm up.
Great stuff, and good luck for shaping it as well, Toppy, and we look forward to seeing you at Brands Hatch next week.
Thank you, and see you.
As that was second place finisher Toppy Cortinemi joining us, and have to say, Peter, that was a really great race, and Brands Hatch, I think next week could be another good one as well.
I think it will, yeah. Similar idea, very tight, twisty, technical. I think we're going to be in for another treat, that is for sure. That is all we have time for this broadcast here on the Global Sim Racing channel. A huge thank you must go to the companies that provide the software and the hardware for our broadcasts, and you can see them listed here on your screen. A big additional thank you goes to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. Check out on the screen of how you can get more of her great work on Bandcamp. A huge thank you goes to Ryan, Sean and Dougie for their work on today's broadcast. And if you'd like to find out more about what we do here at the Global Sim Racing channel, including the schedule of upcoming races, check out globalsimracingchannel.com or head on to our social media feeds, Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Last of all, don't forget to head over to our YouTube page and make sure you hit the big red subscribe button so you never miss a moment here on the Global Sim Racing channel. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.